Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome to a very special festive episode of the Full Force podcast, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com, with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by one half of our highly talented Irish contingent, the man who brought you such books as Total Retaliation, Total H.A.C.S, Total Action Force The Battle Years, and the upcoming Total Skeletron. Yep, it's totally Paddy Total Package Lennon. We have also been graced with the presence of our highly talented artist, Full Force Irregular, although 2 episodes in a month could start changing that. It's Adam, Regular Riches. We will be looking back at the year that was 2021 in relation to G.I. Joe, of course, so take a break from opening pressies, kick back in your cosy armchair, sip on that eggnog, and soak in this holiday special. Explosion of snow. An explosion.
Snow explosion.
Guys, great to have you both on. How does it feel recording this like weeks in advance of Christmas?
Well, especially, given what I'm wearing with studio lights on in Florida, awful.
I bet is your AC cranked to like 100% right now?
Yeah, it's like 90 degrees outside.
It's saying 90 degrees and like humidity factor of 95 or something.
Ooh, it's Christmas.
But the wind chill, that's where it gets you. I'm in freezing cold Pawtucket right now. What's it like at your end, Paddy? Are you snowing yet?
It's actually quite mild. It's actually a very nice day. A bit wet, but fine.
Global warming. Thanks very much. Climate change is real. Right. So, lads, let's get stuck into what is going to be a rather festive exploration into our favourite things of 2021, like Serpentor's episode. Anyway. What we are actually doing today then, well, we are looking back at 2021 related to G.I. Joe, and we will be talking about our favourite G.I. Joe classified figures, our other favourite G.I. Joe related items, which there was a hell of a lot of to choose from this year, and our favourite G.I. Joe moment as well. So, Paddy, let's start with you, mate. Kick us off with your favourite classified figure and why, please and thank you.
This was actually a super tough decision to make.
I thought so, yeah.
I think this year has been where classified hit its stride. Like I don't think you could say there was a single bad figure in classified this year. Agreed. So like I literally was looking at all of them thinking I could have picked any one of them. I think, but I eventually after some soul searching, I picked this delicious the Cobra Island Viper.
The Vipera.
He's just a really great update of the vintage figure. I've always loved the vintage design. I bought far too many of those 30th anniversary Vipers as well. But this guy is just, I couldn't think of a thing to improve in him. You know that way? Whereas I don't know what more could have been done to update him and make him a great figure. I think they just knocked it out of the park with that figure. In a year where they've knocked a lot of character designs out of the park, I think that was the one that really I just can't stop, messing with it and, looking at the gun and so on. It's not a vintage accurate gun, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
He's got the great pistol in the holster, the backpack, the helmet with the goggles.
Oh, the goggles, yeah.
Yeah, just a perfect update of that character, I think.
I was so worried though with those goggles. Like I think I hair dried them for like an hour just to make sure they would flex over that helmet. But yeah, because there were a few people I think posting early on, weren't there, that they'd snapped their goggles. But that's going to happen if you really try and force things on there. But no, I think it's a beautiful figure, and I kind of think it opens the doors with the Viper to do so many cool repaints. You got Sonic Fighters, you've got that kind of you've got Python Patrol, obviously, which they're doing. But then you've also got that one that was kind of like a squad leader type thing, haven't you, as well? So, I mean, there's loads of, really cool colorways you could do on this. Adam, what are your thoughts on the Viper?
Well, my first thoughts are, how did you not pick Master of Disguise Zartan? Hasbro literally immortalized you, and you don't give them this at the end of the year. Shame on you.
The short answer is I don't own it.
Oh, we're going to have to
so
rectify
I decided
that.
to pick... I decided to pick ones I actually own. So I don't own it. Short answer.
Andy, you're breaking my heart.
Come on, let's look at Paddy's face for a second. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. Paddy's head sculpt. Well, it's the full-on. It's a mask, isn't it?
It's just a mask.
Paddy's mask sculpt in immortalized.
Well, have you ever been in the same room as Paddy? Maybe his face is a mask too. We don't know.
I mean, I have, but I've never tried pulling it off. I'm going to do that next time I see Paddy. Like, come on, Zartan. In fact, Paddy, you are a Zartan cosplay waiting to happen. Just get the thing over there and just be Zartan in disguise.
Just get the hood.
Yeah.
Put on a hood.
Done.
Look, it's me, Zartan.
The best cosplay ever. Adam, Viper. Take
Viper.
us. Yeah.
The only thing about that figure, and this you'll see a recurring theme in my picks here, is I want more new stuff. So I felt like we were getting a little early in the line to be seeing such straight redo, homage, I guess, type stuff. But it's a beautiful figure. Incredible update, like most of the classified, and they did make a few differentiations. I actually think the scarf is kind of a nice touch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like the update.
Shame that doesn't come with the Python Patrol version, though. I thought.
Yeah, especially it could have been like a nice snake skin.
Yeah, they really go overboard with it. I'm just thinking yellow, but that's fine. You can go full on snake skin. Like he's just ripped it off and stuck it on.
Ooh, what if it was translucent plastic and it looked like actual snake skin, like when you find one outside?
That would be dope. That would be.
Well,
dope.
You don't find that in Ireland, but
no.
Yeah, but here in the tropics of Florida, it's not uncommon to just see a nice snake skin lying around on the ground.
I think I see a snake behind you on that tree. Zooms in because I've edited. I've edited.
Is this a segue for my musical number?
Do it. Look at that.
Deck the halls with royal guards. Cobra la 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 la.
Cobra la 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 la. Amazing. That's going to be a nightmare to keep you in shot doing that, but that's fine.
Yeah, and I probably now I can't get it back to what it was. Anyway,
that's perfect-ish. Yeah, so Viper.
Viper, great figure.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's an absolute beauty. A good shout as well, Paddy, for our first classified shout of the year.
And thanks to Hasbro for starting to make that figure more accessible after its initial impossible release.
Oh my god, yeah, that was tough, wasn't it? The first few Cobra Island Target releases were definitely a mission, should we say, a special mission. Literally felt like I was part of G.I. Joe trying to get it. But yeah, awesome stuff. Adam, take us through your top classified figure of the year 2021, please and thank you.
All right, in the further push for my agenda, we've got the only brand new first-time character thus far in the entire classified line with a spot-on likeness of the beautiful Haruka Abe. It's Akiko.
Brilliant.
I really just wanted to shout this figure because I feel like it doesn't get enough love. Really. I mean, it is a great figure. I don't know. Here, we'll do the Hasbro live stream trick. Put your hand behind, get the good focus. Look at that. Oh yeah, and there's yours with the single sword. I saw your picture yesterday. I was like, is mine defective? Did I get two of the same sword? But no, I just forgot it was in the box.
You got so upset, didn't you? You're like, oh no, I'm gonna have to get another one because mine don't connect. I'm like, I think there's another weapon in there, Adam. And you're like, oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah, but also I wouldn't have minded buying a second one. I also was like, I thought that mine had like a factory paint error because I didn't realize that was like literally so detailed. It was a birthmark on or a beauty mark on the cheek there.
Incredible, that isn't it? Like
it really is. Yeah.
Do you know what? I didn't even notice that until he pointed it out, and then I'm looking at it. I'm going, that's got to be the smallest deco touch I've ever seen on anything.
And I was like, it was like, that kind of does look like it could just be a beauty mark, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Like, I'm not even going to mess with it. And then when I noticed it on yours, I was like, oh, wow, it really is. Like, that's amazing.
It's unbelievably... Like, can you just make that... Can you see that, Paddy? Can you see the birthmark on her cheek?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Tiny little black dot, but it is absolutely on point. Yeah, so, yeah, good shout on that one, mate.
And also, I have to give a special shout to Tron Nguyen's art here. I think this easily one of my favorite classified packaging art thus far. And actually, you can see it on there too. So I don't know how I never noticed that before. But and I've got some images I swiped from her Instagram. You can blast up on here. But to see this was hand painted, and that all this the dragon texture is like I don't know, like a gold foil or leaf or something. It just, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, think what you want about the movie. I know, fans are divided, but I would say that for me personally, I can separate the toy from what it's associated with, and if you just look at this as an entirely new character and the figure on its own, I think it's one of my favorite classified figures and a very welcome addition just to have new characters in the line, because we can have 4 roadblocks and they can all be great updates, but like to have something genuinely new with all new tooling, I mean, that's really, you could count on 2 hands the amount of times that's happened in the last 10 years, seriously. So I think people should really appreciate this figure more. Absolutely. So hopefully I'm helping to make that happen. So Akiko.
Totally agree. And there's so much about her that you don't really give a second thought to when you just kind of have her on display. The hair sculpt's really cool. Like the little kind of ponytail, like the folded ponytail at the back is just insane.
See that?
Yeah, it's really nice. There's another shot there. Look, kind of like really cool hair, and also the little kind of side bits of hair that kind of come down as well, like separate. There's a lot to it. The Haruka Abe's face head sculpt here is absolutely perfect, I think.
Go back and watch the Full Force interview with her and compare your figure to it if you really want to.
And Haruka's amazing. She always responds when I message her on Twitter. We've had a little back and forth in the message after the chat. She's lovely. She's awesome. And she's very, very, very cool. So, and this figure is just incredible. The other thing I really like about it is the amount of poses you can get out of her.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I've got a photo set on Hoarder. Check it out. And she's doing a high kick and she's balancing on one of her legs. And it's literally like the splits up high. It's unreal. So, yeah, it's so yeah, definitely one of my faves.
And if you're a fan of the music group Gorillaz, Haruka is the speaking voice of the character Noodle.
Yeah, we had this conversation, didn't we? Like, wasn't there another weird thing about that? Like someone that took over from the Gorillaz, or took over doing a voice that was related to G.I. Joe in some way?
Yes, and I'm totally blanking on that.
Completely blanking on that as well. When you tell me what it is, I'll flash it up on screen later. Paddy, what are your thoughts on Haruka, aka Akiko?
I don't have the figure yet. It's not made it out over here yet.
Mate.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll hit before Christmas. But Wave 1 is super shelf warming here at the moment. Unfairly, I think. So Wave 2 hasn't made it out. But I'm keeping an eye on my local comic shops and so on. Hopefully she'll turn up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with those figures, actually. That wave of those 2 waves of Snake Eyes figures, some really nice stuff. And Scarlet, there's another kind of underrated figure. The deco on Scarlet is, when you really get close to it, you see there's loads of colours going on, loads of different colours that I think in normal, the darker shots, everything just looked the same colour. But no, she is dope.
I could have very easily chosen classified movie Snake Eyes as my figure of the year. I just think it's a great figure. It just really, really works. And, you really get to see, although you obviously didn't get to see the suit in the movie, I have appreciation for the suit. Having, the 6-inch version of it on my desk here, it actually looks like a really great design. It's a real shame.
What are you talking about? We get a good solid 15 seconds.
4 seconds. That was in the trailer anyway. But it's a great design, and it's actually a real shame that they didn't do more with it. But I could have easily picked that classified Snake Eyes as my figure of the year too.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we're getting all these out because it means I've got to flash loads of images up. So thanks, lads.
I actually kind of hope that in my fantasy world, if classified goes on for years and years and years, I kind of hope that it almost gets that same status that Star Wars or Marvel has, where periodically, not a whole wave, but maybe they can go back one day and do a figure from one of the movies or something.
Kenta.
Because
who else was the Arashikage Guard, Blind Master, Hard Master? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bang that drum till the end of all time. But I don't care what you think about the movies. Look at Retaliation, look at Rise of Cobra, look at Snake Eyes. The actual designs of these characters and the looks of them, in many cases, translate so well to toys that it really is a travesty we don't have all of these things in figure form. So I hope I hope that can happen somehow one day.
And shout out to Louise Mingenbach, who did the costume designs on most of these, for doing some amazing work on that. And I've got to shout out as well, that Retaliation Snake Eyes costume is outstanding. Like the Retaliation one, for me specifically, is one of the best Snake Eyes designs of all time. But I'm with you on that one, Paddy. I think the new suit looks so cool, and I kind of wish we'd seen more of it. Okay, so it's me now. It's my turn. So my favourite of the year, now again, like as Paddy mentioned before when he talked about his, it's really difficult to actually pick one because the line like this year has been absolutely fantastic. For me, there's a couple of things that go into the reason why I've chosen this guy. One is the kind of Action Force connection, and no, it's not Flint, although Flint was up there for me. It is Barbecue. Now, Barbecue is amazing. Now, a couple of things. One, effectively, it's kind of like the original Barbecue, just bigger, isn't it? Like, you know, I mean, there are a few little touches on there, like obviously the like the little kind of like different color knee pad type things, and like there's a few touches here and there that are kind of, you know, slight upgrades, because obviously there's an element of Destro's body being used here as well, isn't there, and legs. Which, when I was told that, I had to look at both figures and go, really? And really look at it, because the deco completely like blinds you of any Destro influence here, which is incredible.
They gave me the nunchuck Bushido trick on that one, the one that takes 20 years to realize.
Mate, when you mentioned that, I'm like, hang on, I didn't even know that today when you mentioned it, not let alone back then or like, you know, since. So yeah, that was a crazy little comparison there. But yes, Barbecue. Now, one of the reasons I love this figure is just like, well, one, posability. He's actually really cool, like really posable, way more than you'd think someone in this kind of ridiculous suit could actually be. But, you know, you'd think like that secondary would hinder him, but no, like he can get his arms up, he can do all sorts. It's great. It's a brilliant figure. These kind of things, like these little deco touches, these little tampo touches on the backpack, just like that little extra touch, which just, you know, again, adds to this beautiful figure. And the arm tampo, which they carried over, which again, like I love seeing that stuff. And I've spoken to Pat about this in the past, about having these little homages thrown in that are so obvious and simple to us, but you don't know if the designer's going to pick up on it. You don't know if the designer's going to do anything with it. You don't know if Hasbro are going to say, no, we need to cut that because of cost or whatever. So it's really great that they kind of added that in there. And the secondary, just, you know, it makes him look so cool. And it's like, it's not too bulky. It feels like the vintage figure. You know how the vintage figure was like, it was, yeah, it had all the gear and stuff on it, but it didn't feel too like bulky and ridiculous. It actually felt really good and practical. Same thing with this. There's an element of like a bit more bulk, but he's just brilliant. So superb design. The accessories, man, like the little, you know, the little kind of hose attachment is super detailed. Mm-hmm. It's not just a tube. It is literally like, you know, you've got the kind of almost like the ribbing all the way around the actual hose, but then you've got detailing for the connectors at either end. I mean, that's you didn't have to do that, but they did, so I'm very appreciative of it. And yeah, and like obviously you've got the places to put everything. You can store everything. The axe can go on his backpack that he's holding. The other axe goes on his you know, his side holster, and the little hose attachment weapon can slot into his holster on his thigh. So it's just one of the it's like the perfect figure for me. And also the Action Force connection, because he was a huge character in the Action Force comics, and the cartoons we got were always Barbecue, Airtight, Flint, Jay. It was always the characters that you'd see in the comics and stuff. So yeah, really happy with Barbecue. Paddy, what are your thoughts on BBQ?
Yeah, I'd repeat everything you said. Again, he was one of the ones who was like, I was like, oh, which one am I picking? Really, again, everything you say, great update. Again, just, you know, bringing that design, which is already really nice design, and just bringing in modern sculpting. And again, I didn't realize it was Destro for weeks. He was sitting at my desk for like a week and a half, and I'm like, oh, wait.
I recognize those boots.
I recognize those legs, but I didn't cop it for like 10 days or so. It's just, again, a deco change, a couple of secondaries, some accessories, and it's like an entirely new figure. It's fantastic work.
Pat and I have discussed sometimes how we think that 6-inch maybe isn't big enough to justify getting the detail in that you want, whereas it's not a big enough leap from 4-inch. But I feel like one of the areas that 6-inch really does excel in is what you were talking about with the tampos, because a lot of times on 3 3/4-inch Joes, those tampos were so exceptionally detailed, but you couldn't really make them out, or the printing technology at the time wasn't good enough to, and so getting to see some of the old tampos revisited and see them in much greater detail and actually really be able to make out what they are, I think is super cool. It's an awesome touch. So I like that. On a personal level, my grandfather was a firefighter, so I've always had a little bit of a fond feeling for barbecue there. So I like that. I love the additional accessories. I think that it is much like Viper. I think it is a remake, but when they find ways to kind of just kick it up a notch with little things like the scarf, or I think he has the little the additional, was it the foam gun there or whatever, that piece. It's I love all that stuff. And as far as the destro tooling goes, same as you guys, had absolutely no idea. They tricked me real good on that one. So a good deco will do that. Unless it's shock trooper arms, I'm onto those forever. but yeah, I'm a big fan. And also, again, with the art shout outs, I believe that one, John Jiang, is that right?
Yeah, he is next level, isn't he? It's kind of like photo real, but then not. It's almost like it's almost like he does it photorealistic and then adds this layer or filter to kind of really confuse you, but it's beautiful, isn't it?
Well, I gotta, shout out to Cecil, who's the art director on Classified. I think one of the things that he has done so remarkably well is pair up the right character with the right person. And much like Tron Nguyen, who I believe is Vietnamese, I want to say, with Akiko, I think that, John had done a lot of exclusive retailer variants for G.I. Joe comic covers before, but I think he was a perfect fit for barbecue. And I think the reason why is because it's like if you look above a grill or something, you get the heat waves where it kind of distorts the image.
Oh yeah, he does. That's what it is, isn't it?
That was the first thought I had when I looked at that art, and I thought, this is a beautiful pairing for this character. I don't know if it would have worked just as well with anyone else, but to me, that was as soon as I looked at that image, I was like, this feels hot. It looks like you're looking at this image through a fire. And I think that was just such an awesome touch.
That's what he does. I've just realized, it's just dawned on me, because his firefly has got the kind of embers kind of of the explosion, but that kind of, that heat coming off it. And I think the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadows he did, where they were a two looking at each other, well, two separate pictures, but in the same kind of issue. And yeah, again, that kind of heat kind of wobbling the picture almost. Yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, you're right. Absolutely perfect for barbecue. Yeah, big time. He's going to have to do blowtorch as well, isn't he?
Maybe.
Charbroil.
Charbroil, yes.
I think
Not forced charbroil.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think blowtorch might still be on the forever not allowed to make another one list after the rich abundance we had during the pursuit.
Women in blowtorch, yeah, I know. There was I liked obviously the red and yellow, but then doing the kind of, was it the brownie tan and green? That I was cool with, but then doing almost sunbow colors. And then another one, and then another one. Yeah, it was just oh yeah, TNT as well, yeah.
I am slightly disappointed they never did that Argentinian backstop charbroil colours.
Yes, that Argentinian backstop was freaking awesome. Yeah, why? Why haven't they done that? Probably because it's pointless to do, and also could you imagine that taking up the budget? Right, we're going to do no blowtorch first, that first.
Wouldn't it be great if Lenny just went mad one day and is you know what? Let's do an entire wave of weird repaints of the characters we've already got.
Canary
Let's
Ann.
get ourselves... Exactly. Let's get a red laser out of the Cobra Commander. Let's get a Gaucho out of Roblox. Let's get a,
That would be sick.
Is that what we're describing?
Basically, yeah. Basically. We'll get blowtorch and then get a fast draw out of him, right?
Yeah.
Fun school windmill, yeah.
Oh,
all your pick.
The red ninja as a night creeper leader.
Mate, I'm actually into that one.
I'm down for all of these options. Yeah, 100%. I'm the worst though. Like I'm the worst fan ever because like everyone's like, oh, we don't need more repaint. Everyone talks about repaints in such a derogatory way, and there's me going, yay Tiger Force, yay Night Force, yay random foreign version colours, yay! Like I'm like all for it for some reason. I don't know why I think I've just always like enjoyed the visual of multiple things of the same but in different colours, and I don't know why, but that's just something that appeals to me. And
it appeals to me too. I think my only caveat for repaints is I don't want to see them in quick succession. So like part of what made Tiger Force, Night Force, Sky Patrol, whatever work back in the day was that you felt like there was some breathing room between the original release and the redeco. So
Sky Patrol's a good one because that's another one where it's like, hang on, they're painted in such a way that they look completely new and fresh. They don't look like the drivers that they took the bodies from, which I thought it's kind of a genius move, that, because they must have had some leftover drivers, right? Was that the case? Did they just have an overstock and they thought, right, we've got to do something about this? I've never really dug into the Sky Patrol reasoning before.
Well, they're molded. They're molded into colours, aren't they? Just like the only two I had. I obviously had Backstop, and then the Sky Patrol guy who was Backstop. I think the Sky Patrol guys are molded in those colours. I don't think they're repaints per se.
Yeah, they are. I think it was probably just a case of, we've invested this tooling budget, and you had to think the vehicle drivers are probably produced in much smaller numbers than the single carded figures, so it's just a way to get more mileage out of that tooling, probably.
That makes more sense. Yeah, totally.
The single card figures were produced in the high hundreds of thousands, and the vehicle drivers were probably produced in the tens of thousands. So just to get more mileage, I would think. But yeah, stuff like that is great, and I feel like if there was like a corporate mandate of like, this has to sit for 1 year before it can be reused. Unless it's being incorporated into something like barbecue, obviously that's a different circumstance. But if it's going to be like a head-to-toe repaint, I just need a little breathing room in between so that I can love it again and be excited again, as opposed to like, I just bought this,
So like revealing a bat and then a Python Patrol bat.
Yeah, like that.
within an hour. But again, I'm all over that stuff.
But I've already bought both of them, so what does that say about me? Like,
I don't think we need to explain ourselves, really, do we? On that front, everyone is in the same boat, I think, watching this show.
Anyone watching this is like they're in like an AA meeting. We're all crazy, obviously.
That's a very good point. Right then. So, next up then, guys, we talked about our classified loves this year. Let's move into Paddy's favourite non-classified G.I. Joe related item of 2021.
Well, as you can see from what I'm wearing, this is my choice. The
Headphones.
Heroes and Villains Snake Eyes hoodie. I didn't buy. I didn't buy the. I'm on a new level of comfort and warmth.
Show us the other arm, because there's a lovely design on that, isn't there? Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there's a design. Yeah, I think Snake Eyes and Katakana or something on it. Beautiful. I literally only got this about 10 days ago. It arrived along with a care package from Boss Fight Studio of other stuff, toys and so on.
Oh, by the way, I was supposed to add to that, by the way, Paddy. And I forgot to give it to Eric before it was sent. I think it should be here. Yeah, there it is. You'll like it. I'm gonna ruin your Christmas by spoiling it now. But this was supposed to be in there too.
Oh!
We look at the price.
$1.
$1, baby.
I'd buy that for $1.
I did, but I bought it for Paddy, and it's just been here the whole time. So there you go.
I really appreciated the Retaliation activity book. I haven't had a chance to do any activities yet. The package arrived literally a day before I had to go to Spain. So I haven't even opened half of it yet. But I did open this, and I'm wearing it for the first time. This is a world exclusive, me wearing this hoodie for the first time.
World exclusive.
But it's super comfortable, guys.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Have you got the mask in there you can pull over your face and everything?
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ninja. You actually look like a Viper with that over your face.
The only problem is
with the helmet on.
Does have holes in it. The mask does have holes in it, so I can't use it as like my COVID protection.
Man.
So I have to wear a face mask with it anyway. But yeah, I like it a lot.
I thought that's what the heroes and villains moniker stood for. It was like you can be a COVID hero or you can rob a bank and be a villain. You know, you get 2 in 1. But I guess
that's their angle.
It really is the best thing about movie years is where you get all this really random, the vast amounts of merch, and some of it is terrible, like that helicopter that Pat used to destroy his toy collection.
I love that thing; it's amazing.
But sometimes the licensors know what they're doing, and this hoodie is a perfect example.
Oh yeah.
So there you go, my non-classified G.I. Joe product.
I got so excited. I think it was Cleo Thomas was doing a Snake Eyes live stream for Hasbro, and it was like the big kind of thing where they were going to reveal some stuff. I think they ended up revealing the kind of kids 5-inch figures and putting them on pre-order and all that kind of stuff. And he talked about that for a split second, and that was the one thing I was like just so excited for when they showed the images. It was like a Snake Eyes one and a Storm Shadow one. I'm like, oh, 100%. I ended up getting the Snake Eyes hoodie, the Storm Shadow hoodie, and the Storm Shadow joggers as well because they are amazing. Yeah, love.
I didn't buy the Storm Shadow one because camouflage stuff is like so.
2002.
Sort of stuff exactly the sort of stuff I used to wear when I was 20.
You don't want to be an Ultimate Soldier in 2021?
I'm wearing camouflage.
Oh my god, it's a floating torso.
Oh my god, his legs have been cut off. Oh my god, it's Darth Maul. Chris is Darth Maul. Oh my god. No, you're right. There's the massive 2002 vibes in there, and it's not even like late 90s. It is like that kind of early 2000s vibe, isn't it? Yeah, I love it though. I wear that hoodie all the time. It's freaking awesome. So yeah, great shout on that one, Paddy. And yeah, you're right. When in the movie years, the merch just floods everywhere. Like I'm even rocking, silly Christmas G.I. Joe t-shirts and stuff like that have come out recently. So there you go. Look.
Remember 2 years ago where everybody went mad for like this Walmart G.I. Joe hoodie?
We talked about that.
Oh my god, it's the first merch in years.
We talked about that on the monthly, didn't we, Adam? It was like we all rushed out to the store and were like, a G.I. Joe t-shirt and a G.I. Joe hoodie. Quick, get them. It was frantic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that there is some kind of marketing lesson in there that if they just had really slow staggered releases, but there was always a thing, we'd probably buy literally everything. But when we're too spoiled, like right now, it's literally impossible. So you got to give us just enough, but not too much.
Exactly. Yeah, you keep taking it away from us for a year. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Absence makes the heart grow mental. Right, so, okay, Paddy, that was a great shout. Love that. Agree with that. I think that's brilliant. Adam, what was your non-Joe item? Non-classified Joe-related item? That's what I meant to say.
So I'm going to keep pushing my agenda here, and that is for more newly tooled new characters. So my non-classified item is the Retro Series Fancopter with Cobra Pilot, and...
There's the trick.
We all know what he looks like. Here's the trick. We all love that. This is the lone newly tooled vehicle in the retro line, and it's the lone new and newly tooled character in the line. So, again, I know feelings are kind of mixed on these because the anatomy is a little weird compared to what we'd call like the modern 4-inch, whatever we're calling the 25th stuff now. Like they've got thicker wrists and ankles, and I'm guessing that's probably more for like safety reasons. It's kind of, but they do have some interesting things they never had before. Like he's got like a swivel at the top of his boot cut, which is pretty cool.
It's like a classified, what do you call it? Articulation points, isn't it?
Yeah. So, more articulation. And like, obviously this figure did end up seeing 3 total retools beyond this. Same with the Stalker and Grunt mold. So, obviously you put in the money for the new tooling, you're going to get use out of it, whatever. But this was the first use of it, and an entirely new vehicle for 4-inch figures, which again hadn't happened in years. So I don't think it gets enough love. And also, the packaging art is really nice. I wish I knew who did it so I could give them a shout. But they did a really good job, sort of replicating the vintage, Garrido style, but digitally, obviously. And I think that's really nice looking. And this was not super hard to come by at retail, which is always nice. Good price point. I want to say it was like $20 or something. $25.
Yeah, about that.
But for something entirely newly tooled with a new figure, I just don't feel it got enough love. And, it's a really unique offering. And it's, again, like I know, we're all hopped up on O-Ring now. We've got two Super 7 at 2 different scales and classified and the Core Ninja assortment and stuff. So, this kind of fell by the wayside. But I don't think that 4-inch modern Joes are ever really dead. I think everything's on ice. We've seen 12-inch come and go and everything, O-Ring come and go. So I think we could see these again one day, maybe. But for now, it appears they're on ice, I'll say. But if they are, and I think these last few figures we got up were a really nice way to go, and this is certainly one of them. So if you see these at Walmart now, these last few that are kind of straggling around, I would tell you to pick them up because they're going on clearance and they are really good figures. So anyway, Fang Pilot and Copter.
I think you probably covered all of the bases there on that one. I was going to say to you, I was excited for the prospect when they brought that vehicle and figure out. I was like, oh, cool, we're going to get new things. And that's going to, start snowballing. And we did. We kind of got the Stalker body, which was then utilized again for Grunt, or the other way around. No, hang on. What did we get first? It was Stalker, wasn't it? Yeah,
Stalker first.
Sorry, it was first, so many months ago. And... And it was, I don't know, I think it was more like the excitement of getting new stuff that was like, oh great, we can kind of move up from here, because I did feel like there was a step back in terms of the quality of the figures 4-inch modern, and I agree with you. I think 4-inch is kind of what G.I. Joe is very, very famous for. Even though like it started as 12, you've still got, I think, probably its most iconic era within that 3 3/4 to 4-inch kind of size. So I don't think it's ever going away. And obviously you're right, we've got O-rings at the moment, but I think I do think we'll get 4-inch modern again in the future. I'm not sure when, but definitely like in the near future, I think we'll see it again.
I'm still waiting for the day that Ninja Turtles did that really, Playmates I should say, did that really awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles History of Leonardo box set. And I keep thinking one day, and we've got a 40th anniversary coming, we've got a 50th or whatever 40th of Real American Hero is next year, but the
60th
of the overall line, is that right?
Yeah, that would be 26th.
60th of the overall line is in 2024. So we've got opportunities coming up. But point being, I think that I would really love to see that just mega box set that has a 12-inch, an O-ring, a 4-inch modern, a Sergeant Savage, an Extreme. Just literally like a growth chart.
Creo.
HasLab, whatever, I don't know.
World's smallest,
Wind up helicopters that destroy your chips collection.
You could do, how mental would the box be for a history of the Sky Striker?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm good on that one, but...
like 16 weeks long. You'd have to measure it in actual... time rather than it's amazing. That would be great.
But when there was that proposed and ultimately canceled Then and Now line, but we did see the one snow job figure from that sneak out in the Rise of Cobra line.
Yep.
And I'd love to see something like that. I think that's your opportunity to maybe get a few more 4-inch modern figures out, because I'm going to bring this up every time on this show. We got some loose ends. I'm waiting for that Ninja Force Snake Eyes, Orange Slice, Ninja Force Night Creeper. You might notice all these characters falling under the same sub-team. Let's finish that off before we really call this dead.
Lightfoot, please. Please.
Yeah. I'm down.
Goodness me, what is going on?
That airtight body got 75 other repaints. Why can't it be nice?
I will buy a Lightfoot. So that's 3 sales already. Now is another.
Done.
Oh, now is another 16,000, and they can do a HasLab for him.
Downtown never got his props, and I think he's actually a very cool figure. But anyway, right, okay, cool, brilliant stuff. So now let's
hear it, Chris.
Yeah, what is mine? What is mine? Actually, I'll tell you what it is, and I'm not doing this because of certain people on the show, but I have to preface this with, when I found out this was going ahead, I was probably more excited at the fact that it was going to be an actual official licensed product, and that is, drum roll please, Total Action Force: The Battle Years. Yes.
I wasn't fishing for that, but thank you.
Well, that's why I didn't send the document, because you'd have seen my choice, and I didn't want you to. I wanted it to be a surprise. Now
I want to hold mine up on camera. Should I go grab it?
Yeah, go do it. Just show the world that we all support our friends.
Pause right here. Pause.
Hang on, I have mine right here.
I'm still going to keep going and leave all of this in. Look at that. We're going to have 3 windows of Action Force books. Now, this, like, for one thing, I knew it was going to be next. Well, I'll wait for Adam to come back because I want to talk about it. But here he is. Look, 3 people, 3 books. Let's get them all on show. There you go. Look at that. The only 3 copies they made. I'm just kidding. I say that with another copy in the background, like there. Look. No, this is absolutely beautiful. Now, when you guys were talking about doing this, first of all, I was like, well, it's going to be outstanding. You know, you've got Brian Hickey on photography, which I don't think there is. And no, I'm not. This is no disrespect to anybody else that does toy photography out there, but I don't think there is anyone that does toy photography like Brian. You know, like in the way that he can create such amazing shots. Not only, and I'm, you know, it's a bit of a diss, but they're 5-point of articulation figures for the most part, you know, and I find it hard enough getting O-ring figures in decent held poses, let alone a 5-point of articulation figure that Brian Hickey somehow manages to make look so dynamic. Par exemple, Captain McRunny Pants. Look at that.
The first image when you open this book is so packed with energy. Like, it feels like you're running off the page, and then you look at this figure that's so static it could be a Happy Meal toy, and you're just like, and there is no Photoshop trickery, by the way. Like, this isn't like, you know,
that's the other thing.
There's not like motion blur on this or something.
He doesn't do touch-ups and stuff like that. Like, he did that Visionaries one for us for the show ages ago, which he had to take a picture with a bit of glass in front of it, flash the hologram on, like, reflect it onto the glass, and then line it up to make it look like it was coming out of Leoric's chest. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I knew that aspect of it was going to be great. And obviously, Paddy, with your writing in this, it is just the most engaging book ever for this particular, and obviously I've got a connection to it, so that straight away I'm going to be interested in it. But it is so well done. The interviews, absolutely top notch. More images there that Adam's showing you, beautiful images.
Look at that spacewalk. It looks so natural.
Look at this. Look at that. Robo-Skull versus the Special Weapons Force Vamp. Absolutely gorgeous. Or Panther, I should say. That would have been a Special Weapon Force Panther. Panther 2. And that's the other thing about this book. Paddy's given all of the characters from... I'm telling Paddy this as if he doesn't know. From the Special Weapons team that was unreleased, the Special Weapons Force, he's given them all names, like proper code names, like Matthew Paul, Martin Folks, all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. It is so well done. And and when it came in, I was just absolutely I was like, it took my day over. I was just having to look through the whole thing. Haven't read it all yet as well. I've only read like some of the interviews, but they're so good. And it just really paints a beautiful picture of this era of G.I. Joe, aka Action Force. And it is just the perfect book. And I think everyone out there who actually got one of these, there was quite a few of us, then are probably all very, very just blown away by the actual content, because it is stunning. Another cracking book, Paddy. What have you got to say for yourself?
Thank you, Chris, for all of that. It really is very much appreciated. You know, myself and Brian and David, we really put everything we had into it.
David as well. Sorry, David McDonald. Apologies, I forgot to mention David.
So yeah, we're blown away by the reaction to it. You know, we really wanted to. You know, we needed a lot of money to make it happen. We wanted to make sure that everybody who got it felt that they got their money's worth. So we made it as, you know, comprehensive as we could. Brian painstakingly shot every figure. Dozens of diorama setups. And, you know, he has 15 or 20 diorama images. He just wanted to get into the book, which is we did not have the space for. So there's a whole, you know, we had planned to do more pages in a Kickstarter if we got enough funding. We could have easily filled made that a 300-page book, I think.
Look at that. Love those. Amazing, Paddy.
I think
amazing.
I'm very glad, and I'm just so happy that it's an officially licensed Action Force item.
I was just
for the first time in 40 years. Like,
I was thinking about when I was coming up with the best, non-classified item. I was like, I'd love to use Paddy and Brian's book, and then I went, I can. It's officially bloody licensed. It's got G.I. Joe copyright 2021 Hasbro and all sorts in it. It's brilliant.
Yep.
What you should have done is you should have put a Hasbro badge in front of all of this, just there, just one big one, just right in the front. No, absolutely superb, mate. Go on, Adam.
I want to be able to sell people on this book again, but you can't get it now. And I know you said that you were only ever going to print it during the Kickstarter, and I know when we were in the final minutes of the Kickstarter, me even telling people, if you don't buy this, you're going to regret it because this is your one and only chance. But who cares? I think you should print it again because, now I have it, and I want to share the wealth. Like, I'm not one of those people that wants to be the only one to have something. It's awesome, and it's an incredible resource, and obviously, I think if you watch the show, if you see my post, I'm a diehard G.I. Joe fan. How deep my knowledge on the subject runs. There is so much stuff in this book that I didn't know. And I feel like, for American collectors especially, they're under the misunderstanding that they think Action Force is just repaints of G.I. Joe or something. It couldn't be farther from the truth. And there is so much stuff in this book that just was mind-blowing one after the other that I wish you could get to experience that with me. But I can't, scan it and upload a torrent. So I think the next best thing would be for them to just simply reprint the book and let everyone get another shot at it now that so many people actually have it in hand and can attest to just how good it really is.
I think we're going to look at maybe doing a paperback run next year.
Okay.
Again, put it up on Kickstarter and see, because a paperback will obviously be cheaper to produce.
Yep.
And we could afford to sell it for a little bit less. I know, like I said, the sticker shock of the price, I think, kind of made people a bit wary. But now that I think people have seen how good it is, maybe that if they find that there's a paperback version of it next year, that maybe we'll get people jumping on board again. I think that might be the best way to go about it. We'll have to get agreement from Hasbro again. We'll have to get agreement from Rebellion again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get that and do something with it next year.
And I think that still honors the pledge to the Kickstarter backers that you're not, that this was the one and only time you could get this exact edition of this book. But and normally I would say, with HasLab, if they reissued that, I would obviously not be happy because, the whole point is to back it when you do. But I view this in a different light. I think that this is a valuable asset to collectors and really just the amount of labor and love that has gone into this that is so clear. It deserves to be seen on a bigger platform. So the more eyes you can get on this, the better.
This isn't one of those books that you just skim through either. There's so much content in this. It is literally dripping in, information and so much cool stuff. Additional aspects to figures that never got released. Concepts, interviews with the guys that were on the ground when this was going on, the kind of legends behind it all. The deep dive into the comics and all of the, the history of the creation of the comics, the Battle Action Force comics. It's just absolutely brilliant. And on top of that, the bonus are these beautiful diorama shots and beautiful shots of every single figure with all their accessories, with their information. It's perfect, Paddy, and you and Brian have done a tremendous job.
And of course, you now all have a picture of myself and Brian that you can to as well.
You mean Zartan?
Yeah, there he is.
And that's true. I've ruined the other pictures I've got of you two, so I might as well. At least this is almost wiped clean. So brilliant. Family show, guys. Family show. There'll be a lot of bleep in there. Anyway, fantastic stuff. Right, that was our favourite non-classified items. I should have gone with this, shouldn't I? Actually, in terms of books, guys, you're not going to beat G.I. Joe Above and Beyond. You're just not going to do it. It's an absolute. Is
that like the book of the film, or is it like a prequel prose novel?
This is just a. It is a.
I'm going to read it anyway, but I just.
It is a tip of the helmet.
What?
Oh my god. Just the tip.
Merry Christmas, guys. You just got a tip of the helmet. Amazing. Okay, I don't know. It's okay. Part of an elite covert military team, Lieutenant Duke Hauser and his buddy Ripcord Weems are dispatched to the small oil-rich South American country of San Sebastião to help quell a revolution. The multinational peacekeeping force known as G.I. Joe has secretly sent special ops to support Duke's unit. Their other mission, find out who's playing both sides of the conflict by supplying each of the same advanced lethal weaponry. But it turns out that the devious culprit has raised the stakes, promising to... you get the idea. I don't know where that fits in.
It sounds like a prequel where Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets shot by a missile. That sounds like that's what that is.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Brilliant. There you go. That's on its way to you, Paddy, in about 7 months' time.
Perfect.
Right. Next up, then, Paddy. What is your favourite G.I. Joe moment of the year? And you can count me putting this on screen as well if you like.
Well, obviously, you giving me that book is up there now. But I did have a choice earlier on. I want to talk a little bit about, we all saw Snake Eyes and we all have our own opinions of it. Maybe we don't think it was particularly good. Maybe we think that director should have brought it and shot. Maybe we think that they should have just let Kenji Tanigaki direct the whole thing himself.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Which would have been better. But the one thing I'll say about Snake Eyes movie is they did some very, very savvy marketing for it. Obviously, they got Henry to come onto the Full Force podcast a couple of times.
That was the main thing they did, right?
That was the main thing they did, right? I feel. They got the rest of the cast to come on to the Full Force podcast.
That was the second thing they did, right?
They told their bread is buttered. There was that amazing stop motion classified figure PSA.
That was amazing.
Brilliant.
That was fantastic. Really, really well done. All in the service of a movie that is not really very good. But my absolute favorite was the Japanese trailer for Snake Eyes with the officially done, commissioned trailer song "Stealth Drive" by Ninja Gaki. It's an absolute slammer, belter
banger,
of a song.
isn't it? Absolute banger.
It's absolutely 2 minutes of just like oh my god. The day that went up on Twitter, I was just literally there for 20 minutes, just repeat. It makes the movie look 10,000 times better than it actually was.
The energy. Really, oh my goodness.
The energy of the editing of the song.
I love some of the lyrics though that come up at the end. There was one that I sent to you guys. I was like, that's amazing.
Oh, there's a few that are really funny. I can't remember them all offhand. But
yeah. It's great. It's absolutely
we'll
brilliant.
have to flash up some of the subtitles or something here.
It's an unbelievable they just did so much better marketing for this movie overseas. The European,
the poster as well. The poster's gorgeous.
The posters were better. The Japanese poster.
It's like on the side of a building. It's like Spider-Man or something. It's like some Marvel movie image. I'm like, this doesn't happen in the film.
Yeah. It's just crazy that the marketing for it was so good, and then the marketing didn't work in the end because only 15 people went to see it. It was and 2 of them were me twice
in Japan as well. Like I really thought there would be that. I didn't expect it to save the box office for them, but I expected more people to go and see it than they did in the States, and it was worse. It was such a shame. Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
But anyway, great marketing attempt, guys. Next time, maybe make a better movie.
I feel like that release was sort of, obviously plagued by the pandemic regardless. Like, you're going to have problems no matter what. But the marketing here, for sure, it felt almost somber in a way. Like, even though it still had the neon, it was all very sort of, cast in shadow. And the Japanese marketing is just like neon colors everywhere, explosion in your face. It's so much more like I watched that trailer and I'm like, I don't even know what they're saying. And this is the movie I want to see. And that song, I have listened to it so many times. That part of the airways, it's a stage dive. I'm like, yes. I just want to go out in the streets of Vancouver, redressed as Tokyo and swing around swords and stuff.
Amazing.
Anyway,
amazing.
And maybe see Larry in the aisleway with with an umbrella and
Amazing. No, it's an absolute banger. It's a great choice, Paddy, for your non-classified moment, best moment. What am I talking about? Great choice for your best moment of the year. Adam, What about yours, mate? What would you go with?
So my actual best moment, I can't tell anyone because there's a non-disclosure agreement associated with it. So stay tuned. But the best moment that I can talk about, I'm not going to read it off this so I don't forget anything.
Does that breach the non-disclosure agreement by saying that you've signed a non-disclosure?
By saying you have a non-disclosure agreement.
I said literally nothing about anything. I didn't even say a company. It could be anything.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, it could be any company. Hasbro, but carry on. No, I'm kidding.
Hasbro doesn't. G.I. Joe has many licenses. That could mean literally anything. Who knows?
Oh, it's G.I. Joe. Wicked.
The best Joe moment. It doesn't even mean G.I. Joe. It could be my friend Joe. Who knows? Anyway, all right. I'm gonna read this because it's so convoluted. This is kind of a cheat. You're gonna get to flash up a million images. You'll love me for that. All right. My favorite Joe moment of 2021 is PulseCon 2021 Day 2. We got reveals of Classified Bat, Tiger Force Outback, Python Patrol Bat, Spirit, Storm Shadow, Crocmaster, behind-the-scenes clips from the Snake Eyes movie, the return of O-Ring with the Storm Shadow Snake Eyes vinyl carry case 2-pack, and the announcement of the Sky Striker HasLab with Ace and Wayne Ruthell. That is easily the single biggest day of Joe reveals in years, and I think that by and large, all of it was extremely well received. So, no real, I guess, I don't know what, other than the Ace figure and Viper, no repaints at all, right? Like that's all new stuff we're seeing for the first time. We got the announcement that posters were going to be available of the classified art for the first time. We got, other teams that had HasLab announcements had 3D models. We actually got to see a physical prototype. I mean, it was a huge day, and I don't think that it can be stressed enough just how exciting that was, and how we'll still be, I don't know if this is the right word, but feeling the ramifications of that day for the next, year plus. I mean, like, those products are going to be trickling out still for over a year. Like, that's so cool to think that all in this one day we got that much of an info dump that well into 2023 we're still going to be getting items from it. So I think that it's fair to say that the G.I. Joe team absolutely owned every other Hasbro brand team that weekend. I collect a lot of those brands, and I know a lot of those people, but G.I. Joe slaughtered them, and it was awesome, and those reveals were excellent, and I think that it's going to go down as a pretty red letter day in G.I. Joe history for anyone that was really paying attention.
Absolutely. It was a stunning performance from the G.I. Joe team. And one thing I will, as I said as well at the time, the G.I. Joe team itself, as much, I love, everyone, this is not putting any other brand teams down, but there's something about the G.I. Joe team, if you watch that all the way through, it's like they feel natural and comfortable. There are no awkward pauses. There's a lot of times when there'll be a big gap, or they're trying to put something on a table and they're trying to move around. But their G.I. Joe team is so slick, and everyone was bouncing off each other and just passing it along and comfortable in front of the camera and everything. So there's they not only did they own it in terms of the reveals, but they owned it in terms of performance because they really nailed it. Emily's really great. She's just so energetic, and she's so I don't know, she's just really into the brand. She's not she doesn't know loads about it. She's only just got onto the G.I. Joe brand, but she's immersed herself in it. And you can tell that about her. Lenny, absolute, consummate professional, knows what to say, knows how to say it, all that kind of stuff. Corey, is Mr. Professional, just absolutely, just kills it when he has to describe anything he's showing. And Chris from engineering as well. Just talk through everything really clear, really smooth, brilliant teamwork. And I thought it was just a great panel, not just for the reveals, but from them actually, getting that information across.
I think some of the brand teams at these, I guess every brand team has a different approach, but some of them are very rehearsed. They have a lot of canned lines that, they intend to be comedic, but I think sometimes just come across as okay, and I felt like the G.I. Joe brand team had a much more natural rapport. I'm sure obviously some of it was rehearsed, but it just didn't feel that way. It felt and like you were saying about Emily, I don't expect it's going to be harder and harder to find someone with the history that this brand has that knows that much about it and also has the marketing qualifications to have that job. So I think that what really matters is, do you bring passion to the role? Are you eager to immerse yourself in it? And, and do you convey that in a real way that doesn't feel totally just, I'm here because it's a job. And I think she's doing all that, and I think that this is probably the healthiest and best that G.I. Joe has felt as a brand to me in at least the last 10 years.
I certainly got the impression from watching the live streams and so on that they actually enjoy their work. And they're proud of what they did with those figures this year. Like what they were coming out there saying, look, here's our Storm Shadow, here's our Sky Striker. They're like, we're really proud of the work we put into these. We think they're going to be great toys. There was a real feeling of that when I was watching that live stream, that, you know, this is a group of professionals who are doing their best work, putting their best into the work, and who are actually enjoying themselves for the last, 8 months in producing this
Yeah,
stuff.
totally. Absolutely.
That's certainly the big takeaway I had from it, other than, the fact that there was something for everybody in those reveals. If you wanted vintage O-rings, they're there. If you want amazing classified figures, if you want to subject yourself to a Target exclusive hunt, you can do that too. You've got your obscure European repaint in there. Thanks, Lenny. There's something for every variety of Joe fan had something to get excited about in that PulseCon.
I'm hoping the homage is Tiger Force Outback and not Forastero. I could just imagine it being, we wanted to do the South American Sonic Fighters Forastero figure, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You wanted to do the UK Euro exclusive Tiger Force Outback. That's what you wanted to do. But yeah, I was blown away by that alone. Honestly, when that came out, I'm like, oh right, they're doing that first. Okay, I'm down. I'm in. You had me at hello. Let's do this.
Literally pre-ordered it as soon as I could.
Yeah, that was. Oh god, that's another thing. Isn't it?
Yeah. Give me that. I need him.
I will say the only downside of a PulseCon or a convention like that is the fact that the anxiety and the stress of having to keep up as a show, of having to do having to get ready to go live or record our responses, and at the same time trying to order stuff when it goes up in the and editing it and getting it out quick and focusing on, did we get all the right information, have we, oh my god, it is that is the most stressful weekend for me ever, but it's always worth it, and it's always great to have that response and to see the kind of fandom going nuts over the stuff. It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair to them, they did give you plenty of lead time after the reveal before the pre-orders went live. They gave you 4 or 5 hours.
They drop it on my editing time.
But they let you sit back and think, okay, what do I need to get? What do I need to pre-order that it might be difficult to get? Where they allow you that time to think, okay, I don't need to order all at once. I can order some today, and it'll be pre-orders for another 6 months. So I can order some next month or whatever. So giving those few hours where it's not going live immediately after the panel was very competently thought out idea by them, I think, as well.
Totally, because there's nothing worse than having to go, right, I've got to go to Target at the same time that I've got to go to Pulse, and I've got to go to Entertainment Earth because they've got this, a Big Bad Toy Store, I've got this one, and it's just I'd rather just be able to go okay, right, I can focus on getting those figures and then move on, and then next week when they drop the pre-orders for Target, I can do that. You're right, it's so much better how they've done that. The first one they ever did, it was an absolute shower. It was horrible, and it was we were all freaking out. We were all trying to order them. I remember us in the group messaging just nah, not a chance. Adam's I got them all randomly. I don't know how. I just managed to just order them all each individually, really easy pace, and everyone else is refresh. It was just crazy.
Funny enough, though, I had the reverse for PulseCon because I was in Orlando the day that happened, and I think that was the same day that they first launched the Hasbro Pulse app.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it wasn't, I kept having buffering issues because I was driving in weird areas and stuff, and the signal was cutting out, and I was losing my mind, so obviously it's going to be fine, but I ordered everything from 5 different sites, but I couldn't get Crocmaster from one, or I couldn't get Spirit from one, and I was oh, this is a mess, but whatever, I'm going to get them all, don't worry. I know the viewers are really worried about whether I get them all. I just want to put their minds at ease. I'm going to get them.
Viewers are only cared about are they going to get that figure? That's,
I know.
Whenever you watch, it's I don't care if you're not going to be able to get it or not, I just want to get it. And I will.
I don't care if I have to walk over your dead body to get that Crocmaster and Fiona out of. I'm getting.
Rip your throat out with my with my hand if I have to. I will Patrick Swayze your ass. Anyway, right. Sorry, Roadhouse reference.
Dark turn. All right.
Yeah, Roadhouse reference. Right then. Okay, so that leaves up to me for my favourite moment of the year. So there's a lots because it was one hell of a year for G.I. Joe. Like you say, the brand is probably in its healthiest position it's been in for 10 years. It is multiple lines. It is a HasLab deep, and it's that which I'm going to choose as my most kind of like favorite moment, I would say, and that was the day of HasLab's, like the final day of the Sky Striker HasLab. And for one thing, it was obviously it's just kind of one of those things that I feel like the HasLab projects, there's always a bit of history about them. I got in on the Katana way back when they first did the HasLab project. Can kind of revealed this is what we're going to be doing, and everyone was up in uproar going, you can't do a crowdfunder, you're Hasbro. But everyone jumped on it, so it's like, you can't do this, I need 60 of them. And then obviously I got in on it because it was historic, and it felt like if I want to get on it, not necessarily because I want this, because I wasn't collecting vintage collection at the time. I was a Black Series collector at the time, so it didn't really have a space in my collection, but I just wanted to make sure I was in there, just experiencing that whole thing. And the same kind of thing happened when G.I. Joe got HasLab, because we've had multiple Marvel HasLabs. We've had Star Wars, we've had Sesame Street, which we won't get into. Hero Quest, Transformers, multiple Transformers now, Ghostbusters as well, all on the same day. All revealed at the same time. And obviously at the end of this year, we got HasLab Sky Striker, HasLab Proton Pack from Ghostbusters, which ended today as we record, yesterday as we record. I can't remember which one. And what was the other one? Star Wars Rancor, which unfortunately didn't make it. But all three of those dropped at the same time, and everyone was a little bit like, and I know Adam, when I saw, like, when I thought of Adam about this, because there was this talk about, well, there isn't much crossover between these three brands. I'm like, have you met Adam Riches? Yeah. He's like the biggest Ghostbusters fan of all time. Obviously, G.I. Joe, and guess what? He also quite likes Star Wars, especially that era. So when I saw that, I thought of you immediately. I thought, bloody hell, you're going to be destroyed the end of the year.
Yeah, kind of. I saw a tweet that said my bank account's HasLabbed out, and I was like, I feel you.
Bank of America /HasLab. Yeah. But anyway, so obviously the last day, the night previous, obviously the Rancor failed, and that was one of those things that we were all kind of, again, in the message group talking about it as it was coming to the final thing. I think Paddy was waking up just as we were talking about it coming to its final minutes. And it was one of those things where we wanted it to fund. We were like, oh, just most of us weren't in on it, but we wanted it to fund anyway. And it didn't make it. And we were a little bit like, oh, this does not bode well for tomorrow, because the Sky Striker was probably at like, I don't know what it was. Was it about 6,000?
It was about 7,000. Yes,
7,000 something, wasn't it? Late 7,000s, I think you're right. Yeah, and we were kind of thinking, oh, this doesn't bode well. The next day, I've never known anything like it. That needle moved at a rapid rate. And just as it was getting to about 2:00 in the afternoon, Eastern, I'd said to the guys, I'm going to go live, and I'm going to do a live stream, and hopefully it'll tick over as I'm doing the live stream. So I waited for it to get to like 9,800 something. I'm about to go live, and someone sends me a message saying, Lenny and Emily are about to go live on Instagram. And I'm like, you SOBs. So I thought, well, obviously I don't want to cross over, because I'm going to either lose loads of people coming on to join the live stream, and I didn't want to take anything away from that. So I thought, well, and I wanted to watch it too. So I didn't want to take the two viewers away from them. So we get onto Instagram, and they do their live feed, and they get about halfway through it, and they realise that the ticker has stopped. And the ticker stopped because there was a massive internet issue. Was it like a Microsoft issue?
Amazon Web Services crashed.
AWS, absolute lockdown, right? Everyone's going mental. It's stuck at 9924, I think it was. Something like real ridiculous and super close. And they kept looking at it, and Emily's going, oh, come on, guys, we're nearly there. But she said it about 6 times during this like lock. And then she's like, right, it appears as though it's locked. We're trying to fix it. We're trying to work out. We may be there. We might not be there. They stayed on for as long as they could, and then they finished the stream. And I'm there going, ha ha, that means... that means that officially I'm going to get it. So I went on the live straight away, boom, up on live, chatting to people, throwing up questions, talking through it. It was a lot of fun, crazy ridiculous. So thanks to all our patrons, viewers, listeners, all of you for jumping on and chatting and sending us messages and stuff. It was brilliant. Anyway, probably had like over 100 and something people watching, which is really good for us. Like, it's great that we were getting that kind of interaction. Also impossible to keep up. Bloody hell. Try to get to as many questions as possible. Anyway, we get about halfway through. I was on there for 2 hours, I think, but we've got about halfway through and it ticks over. Hasbro made almost like a manual website push to show that it actually turned over, and it was at like 10,433 or something like that. And I'm just like, we've done it, it's ticked over. So like, I think for me it was the fact that happened live on the show, and I know it had already reached 10. It reached 10,000, like probably definitely during Lenny and Emily's live stream. But the fact that it ticked over officially, I was just like, yeah, got that one in the bag as well. Thank you very much. And it was just, I don't know, like the relief for it to happen so early in the day and just be like, right, it's funded. We can all chill out now. And then what happened? It just kept punching through the stretch goals. Flight Suit Scarlet unlocked. Night Force Ripcord unlocked, and then we're all there like with like minutes to go going, are they gonna get the pit crew as well? And at one moment it did feel like it was gonna make it, didn't it? Like it was motoring so fast. And there we have it. Like it finished at like I want to say like 16,799. I think it finished. It might be lower than that now, like 16,794 or something. But it was incredible. We were all really, I think we were all really kind of just really happy that the brand team that put all that work into it were able to like, have this successful HasLab. But it was just such an amazing moment. And the fact we were all talking about it at the time, it felt momentous. It felt historic in a weird way. And I know I'm making so much more out of it than it is, but it just feels really good for the brand to have that sort of backing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a momentous night. And, I couldn't even work that night. I was so preoccupied. I was just hitting refresh, like it was my own eBay auction ending or something. Because I just think that, Star Wars is this evergreen brand that is so dominant. I mean, for many people, probably regarded as the greatest toy line of all time. And not that I think it's not really a contest per se. I mean, I back the Rancor, but to see the Rancor just fall short by 500 people and think this is an entirely new concept from a brand that has basically not stopped toys since 1995. And a new concept, new scale, from the original trilogy, like it seems like a home run on every level. And they gave you the Rancor Keeper figure that you wanted. And so that seemed like such a foregone conclusion to me that would back. And when it didn't, I sat there thinking G.I. Joe for so many years has been like the black sheep of the family at Hasbro, and it's like, it's been the little engine that we kept trying to, push. But I kept thinking like, this is a vehicle that's had multiple releases within the last 10 years. There's a lot of division amongst the fandom because there's 5 different scales of figures now. Was this the right time to relaunch O-Ring, at this price point with this item? And I feel like all those fears were compounded 10 times over when the Rancor slipped. And I remember that night when we actually cleared the first hurdle. And not only did we do that, but then it looked like we might actually get all the stretch goals. It was so exciting. It was like it joyous is how I would describe it, really, at least for us in the Full Force chat. But I think for a lot of the fandom, because it really, you always see these things like, well, buy this or we won't get that. And then people are like, oh, company's trying to threaten me, I'll show them. But it's like, think whatever you want. It really is that. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business and it is money driven. And when they see those numbers and they see that kind of support for this brand, that tells the powers that be, not the creatives, but the ones that assign budgets for the year. That tells them, hey, this is a brand that's viable. It has a fan base. Maybe we can throw them a little more budget next year. Maybe we can give them a little more creative freedom next year. And so I think us coming out in droves the way we did and supporting this the way we did has opened up the floodgates now. And, maybe it's not the USS Flag or the Defiant or the Terror Drone, but there's a lot of options on the table now following the success of that I think maybe there wouldn't have been, a week ago. And I think that the fact that Classified has been so hard to find at retail and, especially like obviously the Snake Eyes movie probably didn't perform the way we wanted it to. So all these other little victories I think are helping to keep that momentum going, because if you go back and you look like say post Retaliation, when the movie died, that was the end of G.I. Joe, effectively. You know, like, yeah, it had an exclusive line at Toys R Us and it had the club, but the mainline retail lived or died by the success of the film. So anything like this that we can have that really helps to push Joe forward and show in a big public way that it has that fan base, I think is just a great thing. And yes, I agree with you. That probably would have been my most exciting pick if I hadn't gone with PulseCon. It was an awesome day for the brand and for fans.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Totally agree with all that. How was it for you, Paddy, seeing that final day?
Well, I had no skin in the game because as a resident of Ballygo Backwards, County Potato, Ireland, I wasn't allowed in. I wasn't allowed back in.
Ballygo Backwards, County Potato. Amazing. Amazing.
Apparently, we are good enough to be invaded for 800 years and send a diaspora to America to basically build all of your bridges and roads, but we're not good enough to be worth getting a Sky Striker. So
America's still mad at you for the Titanic.
Well, that's true. Hey, that was built in Northern Ireland.
It was miles away. It's I think for me it was the feeling of it being such a. And I'm bigging up, like I said before, but like being such a historic moment as well. Because, if that fails, it fails. I'm not saying we don't see another G.I. Joe HasLab again. I don't think that's the case. But it would definitely really put a crap smear on the O-ring launch, wouldn't it? And, just have, and then obviously we're going to get your Dukes and your Cobra Command. We've got the core character hump kind of thing coming, I imagine. So there's that feeling of like, at least with the HasLab, you got Flight Suit Scarlet, Wayne Ruthell, Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, a Snake Pit Crewman, a Sunbow-ish kind of Cobra Trooper, Night Force Ripcord. I mean, that's not bad, and I know they're not coming again till 2023 or what have you, but to know that we had those kind of quirky, different kind of figures coming is like, it's just a nice feeling. And we've, then we can kind of get through we've got, I'm sure, Destro, Baroness, Duke, Cobra Commander. We've got Roadblock. We've got to get through all those before we start getting to our Downtowns and our Lightfoots as if we're going to get there, as if we're going to get to that point. But you never know.
Well, I would hope, it's a tough thing with stuff like this because in my mind, I have been collecting G.I. Joe my entire life with no lapses. So I have all those comic packs. I have all the Toys R Us in 97, 98. So, like, O-Ring is this huge universe in my mind. But I know from Hasbro's standpoint, we have to start from ground zero again. So I just hope that maybe we can remember that some of these things do exist in abundance and that we can maybe have some mixed up assortments and get some of those second, third tier characters in early in the line and not have to do the standard, the core team right out of the gate. Because it would be nice just to, if you look at like some of Super 7's assortments in their Ultimates line, like their Wave 1 will have like an oddball character. And like, I would love to see Downtown or Lightfoot or something in there early. So I hope, obviously Wayne Ruthell has given me a lot of excitement towards that option and as well as like the Cobra Pit Crew. So I hope that I hope maybe we can see some of that stuff in the nearer future. Before next year is over, I'd love to get at least a couple of like really weird, obscure characters.
Right. Well, before we go, Paddy, I want you to give me one O-ring figure you'd like to see them do, and then I'll obviously ask the same question to Adam. But who would you like to see them do in the O-ring that might be a little bit off the wall, but something you want? You would definitely go right and buying that. Airtight. Yeah. I just always loved his design. Oh mate, an O-ring as well. He was one of my favourite O-ring figures as well. If they could do him with a show, Will Robbie gifted me one. There you go. Imagine getting like a removable helmet on that as well. Yeah, something like that. Just taking the vintage figure and just doing nicer sculpting, better accessories, and removable helmet. Perfect. Proper Sunbow like head as well, because he has like kind of like flat hair, doesn't he? Like just kind of like a. I think he's got receding hairline, actually. He's got like a widow's peak, I think, going on. Yeah. If I remember. Yeah, airtight. Great shout, mate. Great shout. Adam, what about yourself, mate? If Santa could deliver you an O-ring figure.
Well, without question, it's got to be Pythona. We pretty much, any A-list character from G.I. Joe the movie, including Big Lob with the 2010 club exclusive, we got Pythona as the one glaring omission from that. And the original O-ring line not being all that well represented by female characters makes it that much more appealing. So I feel like Pythona is a layup, but she's a really well-loved character. I think the fans would totally be into that, so that's the easy one.
I have to agree with that one as well. And also a movie classic as our movie figure. And obviously you hate the film, don't you? So
yeah, it's my least favorite film of all time.
Looking behind him at all the globulus and all of the royal guards on everything. Yeah. And there's still got more, and there's still more. How many are you up to now? What's the count?
I think I've got about 175 Royal Guards.
How excited are you going to be when they reveal the O-Ring Royal Guard 2-pack? You're just going to be like, right, I'll get another 20 of these.
Yeah, well, the classified Royal Guard is really going to bankrupt Adam.
Yeah, I know. I really, in a way, I almost hope they don't, because
No, worse than that, Paddy. It's going to be a Super 7 Ultimates Royal Guard. That's what's going to destroy him.
I was going to say, at least with these, I'm limited to what I can actually find. I think if they did that and there was an unlimited quantity of them available, that'd be real dangerous for me.
Yeah, I think you'd...
How much would it cost them just to do like an Adam Richards exclusive figure? You know how Target need to buy like 10,000 or whatever. Adam is like, Lenny, if I give you $200,000, will you do a classified exclusive Royal Guard that's literally just Adam Richards exclusive?
Yeah, but then I'd keep them all and it would bankrupt me. So, I think the goal of an exclusive is to sell them now.
Yeah,
you could just be able to repaint that Destro classified body again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, sorted. I actually am going to go out. I'm going to cheat on mine a little bit, and I'm going to say I can't wait for the SDCC box set Euro exclusive Tiger Force O-rings. That
I'd love it.
Would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I'm totally into it.
I could just imagine, you know that Dio shot, the classic, the big one that everyone like sees, and like if you Google G.I. Joe Tiger Force, it's like the kind of sandy background and all of the figures are like laid out on it. Yeah, I can imagine doing like a box set like that old school background with them all dotted around. Like I think that'd be so sweet.
Bag of sand in the box,
straight from Europe.
England, yeah,
from Europe. From the beaches of Normandy.
From Munsley Beach, which had a massive cliff erosion recently. They could just use some of that. There you go, guys. Just go over there and move all that sand that's shifted from the cliff. Done.
I still remember the 1994 30th Salute card set, getting those as a kid and seeing those UK Tiger Force figures for the first time. And, like, obviously, pre-internet, just being like, wow, like couldn't even, like to think that there was these whole other sub-teams that existed in other parts of the world, or like the Brazilian Eco Warriors figures, any of that stuff. If there's ways to get a secondary use out of this tooling and get us some of that stuff in an official US domestic release, like that's a layup. I mean, like you got to do it. I think that people would love it. I mean, not the people that have overpaid for the originals, but everyone else would love it.
I know, a lot of people going,
no. Silicone O-ring? Oh.
What about that picture I sent you the other day from a picture I took like probably 15 years ago of my vintage kind of collection in a box, like just all, bagged up and everything. And on the top, I've got like, I think 2 or 3 Outbacks. I've got 2 H.A.C.K.S outs. I've got like pretty much multiples of all those Tiger Force figures. And that was before it was like, getting silly. You know what I mean? Like prices were getting silly. Like, they'd be like maybe $10 a figure. Like they wouldn't be that bad. I got the Blizzard from Nick got a collection in from someone, a shoebox collection, right? Opens it up and it was like there was like this random, I think it was like a random South American Python Patrol figure, like Gatillo, I think it was, like the airborne repaint, and that was in there. Blizzard was in there, and Nick paid like nothing for this collection, and he just said, "There you go," and I'm like, "Thanks." He said, "There are any good ones in there?" I'm like, "Nah, mate, not really anything in here." Yoink. So there was definitely a period of getting a lot of Tiger Force figures together before they became ridiculous money.
And they're tough to find even here. I know, like I don't have the vintage Tiger Force European ones. The tree we have a picture in the Total Action Force book of 3 of the figures, And literally, I bought them for William Robbie when I was at a convention down in County Waterford. A guy had a shoebox of figures, and he had those 3. And I literally rang Will, and I'm like, Will, do you want the European exclusive Tiger Force figures? And he's like, there's a what?
I love how your cat like wiped out your entire like light source. He just
gets right into the bloody picture. But yeah, Bill is like, there's a what now? As a US resident, he had no clue. So I ended up buying them for him. And then those are the ones that are in the book: the Hit and Run, the Outback, and the Psych Out. He had no idea they even existed. So yeah, those are literally found them randomly in the middle of nowhere.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, those are. There's just something very appealing about the colours on those, and I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, amazing stuff.
And I don't think the aftermarket on those would be affected if they did a modern O-ring release.
I don't think any.
Tough to find.
I don't think any of that. I kind of. Like Pat and I were talking about this, and he mentioned something along the lines of like, well, people could take arms off this and arms. I'm like, mate, fakers are going to fake no matter what. And they can do it now. They don't have to wait till like a bunch of figures come out. They can literally fake a lot of this stuff now. But I think there are going to be like, I don't think there'll be significant differences, but there are going to be obvious differences. Like obviously the stamp for one, and if the figure is intact, you're going to know. I think like maybe from an eBay perspective, it's going to be difficult, but like, I stopped buying, sight unseen in a way, like if you're like at a con or a show, you can see it, you can, look at it yourself, you can feel it and you can tell what's going on. But when it's online, I'm always a bit wary to be like, just trusting anybody. So yeah, I just think that's going to always be the case. I don't think it's going to bring any prices down necessarily.
I mean, I don't know. I did find a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander the other day for $45, so maybe it's already happened. But
yeah, but wasn't that because they didn't really know what they were doing at that place?
I would have to assume, yeah. Yeah.
Well done, by the way. Flash that up for you. Anyway, that was Adam's early Christmas present to himself right there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that brings us to the end, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this holiday festive season episode of The Full Force, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 indeed.
Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, that covers all of us. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys, chatting with you again. Always enjoy these episodes, and yeah, we'll be seeing everyone again probably for the New Year's Day special. So keep it locked on The Full Force.
Well, in case you don't, happy holidays to all the listeners. It's been real. It's been a real good year, and you'll be seeing me here next year. Maybe you'll definitely be seeing me with my good friend Joe next year. Nondescript, maybe GI, maybe Hasbro.
Nondescript non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah.
The NDA. Yeah, I can't wait to find out what that's all about. Paddy, thanks for joining us, buddy, and congratulations on this absolutely beautiful book. It is fantastic. Shout out to Brian and David as well involved on that. Fantastic stuff.
Thanks a million, Chris. And thank you and Adam for supporting the book and helping us push it to get it funded this year and produced this year, which was something we were very, very proud to get it out there on time. In an era where Kickstarters just forget to do that.
I'll tell you
nice
what.
to be able to get it out there in advance when we said we would.
That's one of the rare occasions, isn't it, where it's like, this is when it's coming out, and we had it, and it's like, wow, okay, yeah. I think that's another thing that was overlooked, I'd say, and within the same year.
Not only that, the shipping was the shipping was faster from Ireland than it is sometimes to ship from one state over. Like, I couldn't believe it. I had it within like 5 days of you guys putting it in the post.
And when you sent me, Adam sent me a Micro Machines cargo plane, and it took about 4 months to get it.
I think that there might have been something up good at that time. I think that was different.
I said to you, didn't I? I'm like, did you send that? And he's, you haven't got it yet? You should have had that weeks ago. And then and then it started. We were like, where is it? Oh my god. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you for watching, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this episode for you on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everybody watching. Happy holidays to everybody. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays to you all. Hope you're having a great time. Hope you're eating lots of food, seeing family, opening presents. I hope you're having a good time. And if you're not, if you're working and you're listening to this, good on you. That's the hustle right there. And I know it's desperately difficult to be in that situation. Some people prefer it. Some people prefer to be like, yeah, I'm just going to work this entire holiday period. And yeah, we hope you're enjoying that too. That brings us to the end of this very special holiday. I almost said hostive, which is like a mixture of holiday and festive. This hostive episode. Thank you for watching the Full Force podcast holiday special. Massive thank you to my awesome co-hosts, Paddy Total Package Lennon and Adam Regular Riches. See you next time. And as always, after 3 lads, 1, 2, 3.
Full force!
And that was perfectly out of sync. I love it. Amazing.
It always is.
Merry
You can fix
Christmas!
it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and tell us your 3 things in the comments. We want to talk about them.
Why didn't? Yeah, I'll leave this going.
Yeah, full force. But tell us.
Also,
I'll
feel
respond.
free, to let us know.
We'll talk about this stuff.
What was your favourite classified figure, your favourite non-classified G.I. Joe item, and your favourite moment of the year in the comments below. Thank you, Adam. And
Hasbro appears on this show, so this show is sort of official. So maybe your favorite moment was seeing me come back to the show after a year-long hiatus. You never know. Tell me. Or tell me you hate me and never want to see me again. Yo,
make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.